Okay, this is me testing some new recording equipment, so hopefully this is better than before. For example, I'll use the mouse to highlight data as we go through. I think before that seemed to be disappearing, alright. So, okay, 2017 question 1, non-calculator paper. If you've done the other two, I've already done a 2019 and 2018 paper. If you're going through it in that order, this will be your third paper as well. You'll notice this is pretty standard, okay? And we really need these marks in the bag, okay? Dead straightforward stuff, right? So f of x is equal to x squared plus 3x, evaluate f to the minus 5. So there's two things it's getting us to, it's trying to ask us. It's trying to get us to see if we understand what this means, okay? So we should really know that f to the minus 5, all that's saying is, instead of x here, we've got minus 5. So let's just substitute x for minus 5. Simple as that. Okay. Easy. Now what it can sometimes say, and I'll just do this over the side of the page, it can maybe say f of x, let's think, is equal to x squared plus 3x. Evaluate when f of x is equal to minus 4. Okay. And what that's trying to say is, well, put the equation equal to that. So x squared plus 3x is equal to minus 4. Okay, it'd be trying to get you to actually work it out. Now this is quite a tricky one because that's a quadratic, so you'd end up having to do something like this. Yeah, add to give you this, multiply to give you this. So in that case, we can actually do that one, okay? We'd have to use a quadratic formula or something. But yeah, the point is, these are the two variations of the question. Are we putting the equation equal to a number? So are we putting this equation here equal to a number, or are we substituting a number? Okay, that's kind of the two ways they'll dress this up. All right, so if this is your first video with me, you'll be thinking, this guy likes to chat away, and I like to kind of talk around some of the questions. There'll be things in this question that obviously aren't totally relevant right now, but I think it's good to talk around the question and some of the background to it as well. Okay, so those are the two different types of question you can get, and yeah, we've substituted in. So that's your kind of your first mark in the marking scheme that is saying, okay, well you've substituted in, good for you. The next mark you're going to get is this is testing your BODMAS, BIDMAS, or whatever you call it. Okay, the order of your operations. Okay, so minus 5 squared is obviously going to give us 25. That's where some people fall down. Don't forget, two negatives make a positive. Okay, minus 5 times minus 5 is 25. Okay, and then we're adding on 3 times minus 5. So we're adding on minus 15. Okay, because you can think on this as being in a bracket itself. Okay, because we've got a multiplication, we've got addition. I'll just use the mouse up. We've got a multiplication, addition, and an index. So if we were looking at BIDMAS, we're going to do our index because we've got no brackets just now. Index, not index. So we would do the 25 first. Okay, and then we've got divide and multiply. Now there's no division, but there's a multiplication. So we would do the multiplication, and then we do the addition. Okay. Now interestingly, it doesn't matter if we do divide and multiply first, and likewise it doesn't matter if we do subtract or add first, as long as we divide and multiply and then add and subtract. We could actually multiply and divide and then subtract and add. Okay, so as long as these two operations are together, that's fine. Okay, so we couldn't put subtract higher than multiply or divide. Okay, for example. So yeah, so you can maybe just look at these, and sometimes it just comes out quite naturally. You think, oh, I know how to do that, and you maybe don't quite understand why, or but yeah, so it's to do with our BIDMAS. We're doing the index, we're doing the multiplication, and then we do the addition. And obviously here again, we're going to test our negatives, so that becomes 25 minus 15, because if we add a negative, we take it away, and that's going to give us 10. Okay, and that would be our second mark. Okay, so should be off to a good start. BIDMAS and substituting in. Okay, pretty easy. Question 2. Statistics. I think statistics questions are fantastic because you've got in your equation sheet at the beginning, and there's loads of good stuff in here. There's loads you don't have to remember, which is fantastic. But you'll see here, you've got your standard deviation equation. So that'll probably come in handy. Those questions come for 4 marks, and they've given you the equation, which is great. I personally prefer the first equation. I'd use that over the second equation, but if you want to use the second one, that's fine. So question 2, number of calls received by the police was recorded over 10 days, and the results are shown. So each one of these is a day, and this is the number of calls the police got. Okay, so maybe this is Saturday night or something. Okay, maybe this is Monday morning. Okay, so loads of calls, not a lot of calls. That's why you can't see that kind. Lots of calls, not a lot of calls. Now, we've been asked to find the semi-interquartile range for this data. Okay, so let's just think a little bit about some of the terms that come into statistics. Okay, so if they were asking us for the mean, okay, and I've said mean, I've not said average. Okay, people seem to think mean means average, but it doesn't really, because there's different ways to working out the average. Okay, um, so as mathematicians, average actually could mean for us, it could mean the mean. Yeah, there's another word for mean now. Um, the word average is flexible. Okay, so instead of average, we could say mean. We could say mode. Oops. We could say median. Okay, so there's lots of different ways of thinking about it. Okay, so for example, mode's the most common answer. Okay, I'm going to call mean. I'm going to call it the arithmetic average. Okay, that's not quite right, but that's what I like to think on it as. And the median is just the number in the middle. Okay, and there's also different reasons to why you would want to use these. Okay, it's all about how skewed data is. Okay, so people love to present the data which serves their purpose the best. Okay, but there are different ways of thinking of the data that would show a more correct result, but you can obviously skew the results by using the wrong one. So anyway, that's thinking about the mean. Usually they won't ask for mode very often, but usually it's median and mean they might ask for. So in this case, if they were asking for the median, well, that's just the number in the middle. So we've got 10 numbers, so it's going to be the number between 5 and 6. Okay, so there's my median in there. Okay, so what number is between them? Well, to find that out, we would just say, well, that's 247. Take away 232. So what does that give us? 15. So there's a difference of 15. So if I do 15 divided by 2, it's going to give me 7.5. So I know that 232 plus 7.5 or 247 take away 7.5 is going to give me my mean. So that's going to give me 239.5. So if they're asking for the mean, there we go. Sorry, if they're asking for the median, there we go. If they're asking for the mean, we would just sum up all of the numbers. So we'd sum up all these 10 data sets and divide by 10. Okay, so that's the median. The mean would be the sum, I'll say sum of x divided by n. Okay, so all of these numbers added up divided by 10. Okay? But again, they're not actually asking for that in this question. I just thought it was interesting to go through it. This is asking for our semi-interquartile range. Now, to find the semi-interquartile range, we need to work out our quartiles. Okay, so what I've done is split the data in two with the median. Okay, so we actually did have to find where the median was, although we didn't have to work out what it was. Okay, but when I do these questions, I think it's always good to work out this. Okay, so there's our median, and now we've got a bottom data set and a top data set, and all we're looking for is the middle of the bottom and the middle of the top. So the middle of the bottom is obviously 218, and the middle of the top is 250. Okay, so I know that Q3 is equal to 250. I actually know the median is equal to 239.5, although it doesn't really matter. And I know that Q1 is equal to 218. Okay, now this is getting on for what's called the 5-figure summary. Okay, the other thing that's not asked for here, which is sometimes asked for, is the range. Okay, and that's where you put in your highest result and your lowest result as well. Okay, so the highest is obviously 267, and the lowest is 198. So if we wanted to work out the range, so there's another term we've not been asked for, we would do 267 take away 198. So that's going to be 69 for our range, okay, if they were asking for that, okay. And you've probably seen these drawn in the box plots, okay, where you draw that's your median in here, and you've got your Q3 and your Q1, and then the line comes out to the highest number and the lowest number if you're asked to draw them out, okay. So that's why we do the range. We represent where these where the outliers are. Okay, most of the information, most of the data set is in here. But these are the extreme numbers. Okay. So again, I'm not asked for that. We've just been asked to work out the semi-interquartile range. Right. Now the semi-interquartile range, you might just remember, is Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. Simple as that. Okay. So that's going to give me 250. Take away 218 divided by 2. So that's 32 divided by 2, which is 16. Okay. Now the other thing that somebody's asked for is just the quartile, the interquartile range. Yeah. So I might say, what is the interquartile range? And that is just Q3 minus Q1. So that would be 32 in this case. Okay, so the semi-interquartile range is kind of like the distance from the middle of the results to your quartiles, okay? But the actual interquartile range is basically just this distance here, isn't it? It's between the two numbers. Okay, so yeah, I'm just trying to talk around some of the things you might get asked on these. Sometimes I forget to say things. Sometimes like here I've just said too much. You know, basically this is a very easy question where it's 250 take away 218 divided by 2. But I think it's good when we see this type of the opportunity to chat and have a think about some of the learning objectives within the statistics section. Okay, so if things like box plots, if you're not thinking, oh, I've never seen that before, have a look. If some of these terms of averages are new to you, have a look. If you're not very good at finding the median, have a look for it, etc. But yeah, that should be everything covered. So the marking scheme for this, you're going to get a mark for working out your quartiles. So you get a mark for Q3 and Q1. So I'll just give that one tick, but that was a mark for that and that. And then just finally a mark for them to take them away and divide by 2. Okay, good stuff.